In this lecture, I want to start working on a couple of things. Well, I want to finish our search here, so we can actually search for the movies that we have available, and it will filter down to the movie it finds. Also, I want to work on our filters, so we can actually filter the movies based on these filters here. And also here, I want to add some conditional styling to our rating. So for example, we have green, red, and yellow colors, and I want to display according to the rating here. So back inside our movie component, I have these colors already prepared. So let's define a method, and we have to define methods property. And I will have a get rating color method in which I want to check the rating on the movie. So for example, if this dot movie dot rating is greater than 7, well, I want to return this first color here, and we have to return a string. Also, I want to check if this dot movie dot rating is greater than 4, in which case, well, I want to return this second color, which is yellow or orange, and in else I just want to return this red color that we have here. So let's save, and here where we have our rating, well, I want to apply some conditional styling here. So we can bind to this style property here, and inside we can take, for example, background color property, and we can set this to get rating color, and we do have to change this interpolation here, so let's add double quotes. So let's now save, and let's see what happens. Well, this looks cool. We have some dynamic colors and looks good. So we can start working on some other things. So let's go to our store here inside our movies module. So here I want to add a new local state here. So let's have search, which will be empty initially, and let's also add a new constant, and I will call this set search, and also here set search. So let's create a mutation that will actually update our state, and here we have the type of our mutation, which will be set search, and we have this handler function which takes in state and also our payload, in this case search. And here we can mutate our state, so search equals to search here. And then we will also need an action, so let's just create a search action that takes in this context, from which we can take commit, and here we also receive some payload, and we can make a mutation here. So let's commit set search and send in this search. So if you have actions as simple as this one, you can actually commit this directly from components, but I like having this actions mutations approach, so I will leave it like this. So now that we have this search updated, well, I want to filter this movies here when I return with this getter, and I want to filter based on this search term here. So let's add filter, and here let's take a movie item in this loop, and let's convert movie.name to all lowercase, and let's add index of, and inside I want to take state.search, and I also want to convert this to lowercase, and I want to check what it returns. So essentially what we have done here is we have converted movie.name to lowercase, and then we are checking whether this state search is inside this name here. And if it is, well, return that movie. If it's not, then nothing happens. So now let's go inside our navbar here, and I want to also create here another local state. So let's return an object, and here I want to have a search. And well, here let's do a dual binding with vModel, and I will provide search here. And something else that I want to introduce you that is inside view, and that is a watch, which I will explain in a couple of seconds. So let's just finish our watcher here. So watcher allows us to listen to any changes inside our data. So here we can say listen to this search, and whenever this changes, well, I want you to do something. And then here, what I want to do, I want to dispatch that action that we created inside our store. And let's access store. And here we can dispatch an action. We have to specify which action, it is search. And we have to send in some payload. Well, we don't have to, but we defined our action so that it accepts payload. So let's send this search. And here inside, I wanna, well, actually, let's just log what we have. Let's go inside here and let's refresh, and let's open developer tools so we can see if there's any errors, and let's try to search. Well, nothing really happens. Let's try to see if our getter here is working. So let's log. Also the same thing here. And if we try to write, still nothing is happening. And why is that? What do you think? Well, the thing is, and if you do remember what we did inside our movie list here, we actually are calling movies on our created ad hook, which means that this will only run once because our component is created only once. So this is why this is not working. But I still wanted to leave this code here so you can actually see what happens. So if we comment this out and return this computed property, which will actually look for changes and will react, as if you remember, computed property will only reevaluate if something changes in our, well, state. So now if we go here, let's refresh just in case, and let's, for example, start typing something. Well, you can see that this is actually working. So let's, for example, yeah, this works perfectly fine. Avatar, good. So that is something that you have in mind about this created ad hook here.